Alrighty, we're back to the generator. I've got it mostly put together. The fuel tank's not on there yet. I've got to go get that. That's in the other part of the barn. I've got the windings rewired with 10 gauge wire, which is a little overkill. But it's this nice like Romex cable, and I couldn't fit a fitting in here because the starter's so close, and I just used the original grommet. And this is a twist lock plug. It is not wired standard, and the reason I did that is because this generator is either 110 or 220. And basically what you do is there's two windings. This is just my little note for how I which colors went to what. So basically if you want 220, you connect the white wire and the ground wire together, and that's neutral or ground. This is the center of the phase, because in the United States our 220 ground is the center of the voltage. You have between red and one leg you'll have 120, and between black and ground you'll have 120, and between black and red you have 220. So you hook white and ground together, and that's your neutral, and then red is one side and black is the other, and you have 3,000 watts at 220 volts. Or you can hook the let's see, if you hook white to red and black to ground, then you get 110 at twice the current. So I believe it's still 3,000 watts. I haven't done the math and figured it out, but it should be. It's a 3,000 watt generator. I believe this is a McCulloch H-3000, but I'm not positive because there's no name tag on it, and obviously it's painted red. But actually a guy at work mentioned something about he had a McCulloch that was round like this. I couldn't hardly find anything with a big round generator housing. You know, most of them are smaller diameter but longer. But he said he had a McCulloch that was a flat one, meaning it had a horizontal engine or a vertical shaft engine, and the generator body was flat underneath it. Excuse me. So I started doing some research, and I found that this looks almost exactly like the H-3000 by McCulloch. So I'm guessing that's what it is. There's not a lot of information out there, but it's supposed to be 3,000 watts, so that's pretty cool. And what I'm going to do is I actually have two of these plugs, and I'm going to wire one with a short cord on it, and then probably a duplex, a 110 volt duplex. So you'll plug that cord in, which will jumper these correctly to make 110 at the higher current, and then I will take the other plug and wire that so that it will make 220, and put an end on it that will plug into my electrical panel so that I can power the house. I don't know if I will wire it in out here in the barn. I probably will. That way you can set the generator out here outside the barn and power the house, backfeed it through the house. You're not really supposed to do that, but as long as you shut off the main, you can do that. So I got to get the fuel tank on here, and I actually got to plug a hole in that. I chopped a hole in the top of it for a return line for another project because the generator didn't run, and of course this motor didn't come with a gas tank, so I'll have to do a little finagling there. But the starter's on there. I don't even know if this starter works, but I do have another one. So if this one doesn't work, I do have another starter. Although I don't have a battery or anything to hook it up to. But I had envisioned making a panel, like in an RV or something, where you could start the generator, you know, from inside the house. But I don't know if I'll do that. It's not really that big of a generator. but for power outages it ought to work. Yeah, so I've rambled on long enough. I'm going to get back to working, so I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Alrighty, we got her all together, and I've got the cables made. This one's got the generator end on this end, and a 3-pin connector on this end, and they each have a lugged ground. And then this end, I don't have the ground connected right now, but because ground is basically through this connector also. Ground is this lug here. But I just wanted to verify that it did have a good ground to the chassis of the generator, so I did put this cable on there as well. And that runs to this box, which is 3,000 watts, 110 volts, 25 amps. It'll actually put out about 27 amps at 3,000 watts at 110. I set the speed of the generator with my frequency meter to 60 hertz. So the voltage is actually a little bit lower. If you rev it up a little bit, you can get 120 or 125 out of it. But it's too high a frequency then. So just in case I ever want to use this with something that might be a little bit frequency sensitive, I wanted to set it at 60. So I will set the camera up and verify that it does in fact operate. Of course it's going to get loud, but we will clamp this light right up here. The light is plugged into the cord, which goes to the generator only. So I will set this up here and put a little spacer in there like so, and we will start her up. Of course we don't want that right up against there. I had to cut you guys off there because I like to spin it down. I hold the governors in so that it idles down instead of trying to shut it off at full speed. I do the same thing with my chipper because there's such a big weight that they run for a long time, and it's just, you know, pumping gas into the cylinder, and it's not good for them. So I like to try to idle it down and hold it at idle. And I don't have the kill switch hooked up yet, so I have to ground out the spark plug with a screwdriver and hold this down at the same time. And I didn't have another hand to hold the camera. I still have my bottle-fed fuel here. I did get the tank out, but see, there's the hole that I put in there for a return line. So I have to continue working on that tomorrow. But it's almost 10:30 at night, and I've been out here for a while, so I'm gonna call it quits. And maybe tomorrow I'll get the tank, probably put a bolt in there if I can get it in there from the inside. Either that or a really big sheet metal screw or something. Try to get that hole shut. I may try to solder it, but I got to get rid of the fuel first because that'll burn, and that'll be pretty bad. So anyway, I got to get that done, get that remounted on there, get that plumbed to the carburetor, and get a kill switch hooked up. And this project will be done. Pick up my mess, obviously. So I told you this workbench would never be that clean again. But anyway, I'm going to call it quits for tonight. I'll probably upload this. And once I get it complete, I'll probably do another little follow-up video on it. But as far as that goes, It is operational if I need to use it. I just need to get a bigger bottle because it's not going to run very long on a quart. So anyway, thanks for watching and tune in next time.